Procedures involving the urinary system are reported using codes 50010 through 53899. You can see here's the female urinary system and then the male. Okay, they're broken down into anatomic divisions in your CPT. Okay, I need everybody to mute me, please. In your CPT, it's broken down into anatomic divisions: the kidney, ureters, bladder, then the urethra. Procedures on the prostate are either urinary or male genitalia system. Then they're going to be further divided by a procedure, which is incision and excision. And there could be endoscopies and laparoscopies and different things like that, but they're further divided by procedure. The kidney subheading includes codes 50010 through 50593. So let's learn what our kidneys actually do.
It's a hot day, and you've just downed several glasses of water, one after the other. Behind the sudden urge that follows are two bean-shaped organs that work as fine-tuned internal sensors. They balance the amount of fluid in your body, detect waste in your blood, and know when to release the vitamins, minerals, and hormones you need to stay alive. Say hello to your kidneys. The main role of these organs is to dispose of waste products and to turn them into urine. The body's 8 liters of blood pass through the kidneys between 20 and 25 times each day, meaning that together, these organs filter about 180 liters every 24 hours. The ingredients in your blood are constantly changing as you ingest food and drink, which explains why the kidneys need to be on permanent duty. Blood enters each kidney through arteries that branch and branch until they form tiny vessels that entwine with special internal modules called nephrons. In each kidney, 1 million of these nephrons form a powerful array of filters and sensors that carefully sift through the blood. This is where we see just how refined and accurate this internal sensing system is. To filter the blood, each nephron uses 2 powerful pieces of equipment: a blob-like structure called a glomerulus, and a long stringy straw-like tubule. The glomerulus works like a sieve, allowing only certain ingredients, such as vitamins and minerals, to pass into the tubule. Then, this vessel's job is to detect whether any of those ingredients are needed in the body. If so, they're reabsorbed in amounts that the body needs so they can circulate in the blood again. But the blood doesn't only carry useful ingredients. It contains waste products too, and the nephrons have to figure out what to do with them. The tubules sense compounds the body doesn't need, like urea, left over from the breakdown of proteins, and redirects them as urine out of the kidneys and through 2 long sewers called ureters. These tubes empty their contents into the bladder to be discharged, ridding your body of that waste once and for all. There's water in that urine too. If the kidney detects too much of it in your blood, for instance, when you've chugged several glasses at once, it sends the extra liquid to the bladder to be removed. On the other hand, low water levels in the blood prompt the kidney to release some back into the bloodstream, meaning that less water makes it into the urine. This is why urine appears yellower when you're less hydrated. By controlling water, your kidneys stabilize the body's fluid levels. But this fine balancing act isn't the kidney's only skill. These organs have the power to activate vitamin D to secrete a hormone called renin that raises blood pressure, and another hormone called erythropoietin, which increases red blood cell production. Without the kidneys, our bodily fluids would spiral out of control. Every time we ate, our blood would receive another load of unsifted ingredients. Soon, the buildup of waste would overload our systems and we'd expire. So each kidney not only keeps things running smoothly, it also keeps us alive. Lucky then that we have 2 of these magical beans.
So isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Let's see if I can't get my needle back on my record here real quick. The nephron part of it is really interesting to me because I knew that, but I don't remember that I know that until I watch one of those videos and I'm like, oh yeah, that's how that works. And this chapter is small, but it doesn't make our kidneys and the urinary tract any less important of a system, because without that functioning correctly, what happens? We can't live, right? Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
What they just said about vitamin D. So it's just saying if you have too much vitamin D in your body, it can cause you high blood pressure?
No, that's not what it said. It just said
That's not
that.
what it meant. Oh,
No, ma'am.
okay.
But I did want to pause and come on and show you. Of course, you guys know that I love to label my CPT. And since we were just talking about the kidneys, I'm just going to hold it up and, our kidney is here and I put my kidney tab right there. So this is an easy chapter to tab because it's not very big and you don't have to put 500 tabs on it, right? All right, now we're going to continue on. Oh, no, that's not what we want to do. Come on. Y'all know it gives me, there we go. So next we're going to talk about the ureter. Ureter subheading includes codes 50600 through 50980. They're divided based on the type of procedure, incision or excision. Laparoscopy codes describe surgical procedures, and these codes may be bilateral or unilateral. So what does bilateral mean?
More than one?
Right. Bilateral means both sides, and unilateral means what? One side, right? One. Okay, so now we're going to talk, we're going to have a little video about the ureters. Everybody says it's differently. I call it ureters. I don't know if that's correct, but that's what we're going with. And again, this is quick.
Hi everyone, it's Matt from CanHub, and in this tutorial we will discuss the ureters.
Ureters, okay.
The ureters are a pair of muscular, tubular structures responsible for taking urine from the kidneys to the urinary bladder for storage prior to excretion. They are collapsible S-shaped channels, each about 25 centimeters in length. They are widest at the renal pelvis and narrow progressively as they enter the urinary bladder. The lumen of each ureter is lined by a mucosal layer of transitional epithelium that accommodates the increase in pressure when the volume of urine leaving the kidney increases, minimizing the risk of rupturing the ureters. These conduits have several infoldings caused by multiple layers of smooth muscle through the ureteral wall. From a histological perspective, there are two muscular layers in the wall of the ureter, a longitudinal and a circular layer. In the lower segment of the ureters, another longitudinal layer can be found proximal to the bladder. It's interesting to note that urine is propelled along the ureters by peristaltic motions initiated by pacemaker cells in the proximal renal pelvis. So, in vivo, you can tell the difference between the ureters and blood vessels because the ureters have a whitish, non-pulsatile exterior with peristaltic waves. The ureters leave the kidneys posterior to the renal vessels. Both ureters pass inferiorly over the abdominal surface of psoas major, with the genitofemoral nerve behind it and the vessels of the gonad in front. As the right ureter travels towards the bladder, it travels posterior to the duodenum, and further down it is crossed by branches of the superior mesenteric vessels. The left ureter, however, travels laterally to the inferior mesenteric vessels and is subsequently crossed by its branches. Eventually, the vessels leave the psoas major as the common iliac arteries bifurcate to enter the true pelvis. The ureter pierces through the wall of the urinary bladder from lateral to medial and posterior to anterior. So this entrance is oblique. It forms the orifice of the ureter in the urinary bladder at the ureterovesicular junction. The ureters have an expansive anastomosing network of arterial supply and venous drainage along their length. The proximal end receives arterial supply from the ureteric branch of the renal artery, seen here highlighted in green. Contributions from the ovarian artery in females, testicular artery in males, as well as a direct ureteric branch from the abdominal aorta supply the middle segment. The distal portion receives its arterial supply from ureteric branches from both the superior and inferior vesical arteries. They are drained by accompanying veins. Neuronal supply to the ureters comes from both divisions of the autonomic nervous system. T10L1 provides sympathetic innervation via the renal plexus and ganglia. Renal and upper ureteric branches from the intermesenteric plexus proximally, and the middle ureteric branch of the intermesenteric plexus in the middle segment. In the true pelvis, the ureter receives parasympathetic supply from the pelvic splanchnic nerves, which are seen here highlighted in green on this image of the female pelvis, and from the inferior hypogastric plexus. These innervations are not pertinent to the generation and maintenance of peristaltic action along the ureters, as this arises from pacemaker cells in the renal pelvis and calyces, as mentioned earlier. However, both the sympathetic and parasympathetic divisions are capable of increasing ureteric peristalsis. The lymphatic drainage of the ureters is similar to that of the kidneys. Most of the nodes are named relative to the segment of the aorta they travel adjacent to. Distally, they drain to the internal and external iliac nodes. The middle segment drains to the common iliac and precaval nodes. Proximally, they drain to the lumbar, lateral aortic, and precaval nodes. From there, lymphatic fluid travels to the cisterna chyli and thoracic duct before returning to systemic circulation. This video is more fun.
So, are you cross-eyed and drooling yet?
It was like, whoo.
Okay. Yes, it was like boo for me too. But do you know what you're going to remember when you think about that? How beautiful was that anatomy? Those pictures and the placement and those little things that they told you, that's what I want you to remember. When you're thinking about the urinary system, you're going to remember those beautiful pictures. And yes, there's lots of videos to choose from. But whenever I closed my eyes and thought about it, even though so many of those words went right over my head, I'm going to remember those pictures and the placements of things. So that's why we went ahead and went with that, okay? I don't want you to think that you're thinking, oh my goodness, what was she thinking giving us that video? Well, there was a reason. That anatomy was so beautiful and the way that it was sectioned off. To me, I'm visual, and I can visualize that in my mind when I think about where the kidneys are versus where the bladder is, and all of those different parts. So I came back to tell you, no, I don't expect you to remember all of that, but I think you're going to remember that anatomy because it was so pretty. I know, y'all, just my way of thinking.
Hi, everyone. It's Matt from Canada.
We don't want to talk to you anymore. All right. So the bladder subheading is 51020 through 51597. When coding from this subheading, it will help to know the anatomy of the bladder. So this is actually the anatomy of the bladder. And no, I'm not going to make you watch a big old video on the anatomy of the bladder. But this is actually a picture.
Kids Health presents How the Body Works with Chloe and the Nerve.
We know this feeling, lady.
Chloe, what are you doing up there?
Looking for a learning adventure.
Okay, good luck. Hope you find a good one.
Oh, I already have. Tell me, Nerb, what do you know about the urinary system?
Way too much.
No, seriously. What do you know?
There's some bean-shaped things and maybe some tubes.
Precisely. And also imprecisely. You see, the urinary tract begins at the kidneys, which are the two bean-shaped things. The kidneys are organs the size of your fist that sit under your ribs along your back. Kidneys filter blood to remove waste. That waste and extra water combine to make urine, which is also called pee.
Chloe?
After the kidney, pretty much just plumbing. The urine enters two small tubes, one coming from each kidney.
Chloe?
Those are called the ureters. They lead to the bladder. The bladder is a sac that holds the pee.
Chloe!
Right now, your bladder is probably feeling very full, since you look really stressed out about it. When it's time to go to the bathroom, the smooth muscle of the bladder contracts to push pee into another tube called the urethra, which carries the pee out of the body.
Chloe, you know that typically I'd love to learn anything about the human body. But right now, I think I'd really prefer to talk about anything but pee.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nerb. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. It's just that staying hydrated is incredibly important to keep the human body running well. Fluids of all kinds help keep us hydrated, but nothing does it as well as water.
Yes. Tell me more about water, Chloe.
Our bodies are actually made of water. 60% of our body mass is just water.
Have another sip, Chloe. Talk to me about hydration.
We feel better and even think better when we drink enough water. Plus, it's delicious and refreshing. Drinking water keeps you from getting dehydrated. That's when you don't drink enough water and you feel dizzy and sick.
How is that water, Chloe?
It's great. I feel very hydrated. Did you know that you can tell if you've drunk enough water by the color of your pee? If you're well hydrated, your pee will be light yellow because your body has plenty of extra water to get rid of. If you're dehydrated, your pee may be a darker yellow because your body is holding on to the water instead of peeing it out.
Have you had enough water, Chloe?
Yeah, I think I have.
And now we wait.
I have to pee!
Get in line, sister. It's gonna be a wait.
But I can't wait. I just drank this whole bottle of water. What could possibly be going on in there?
Just take a deep breath and think of all those happily hydrated cells sloshing around in your body, full of all that water you just drank.
That's it. I'm busting in there.
Grandpa Jabba.
I know it's silly, right? But effective. So I saved that one for last because I figured after you were like, oh my goodness, with the other one that you would find this comical and fun and very, very descriptive, right? Very simply laid out. All right, so now that I've made you watch 3 different videos on the urinary system, and I had the fun one last, I thought it was hilarious, but you guys know I'm like a cartoon character anyway, so that speaks to me. Let's code. So do we have our manuals ready, except for poor Miss Stephanie, who still doesn't have hers? And Dara Lisa doesn't have hers yet either. Jasmine, I don't know. When did you? Jasmine probably doesn't have hers either. But you guys can listen to our process. I do want to show you, ladies, that I have already coded our scenarios, and I just kind of want to show you. Can you see this? I like to map mine out. I'm afraid that no matter what I do, you're not going to be able to see. So I write my main term here, then I do a little arrow. Then this is what I'm looking up in the index, and these are the choices of the codes. I call that mapping out. I do my scenarios like this every single time, only because when I go back and look at it, and I can't remember all these numbers when I get to the tabular, and so I have to write it down. So if you see me looking at this, I've already mapped mine out. And if I say I mapped it out, that's what I mean. All right, so here we go. Let me see if I can get us back to our original.
A nerd?
Eh?
Oh,
Who's that?
let me out.
I'm trying to nap here.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait. I'm not quite done yet. I thought I was finished. No, we have the male genitalia system atomic subsections, which this is what you're going to find in the male genitalia system. These are our subsections. Penis, testes, epididymis, tunica, vaginalis, scrotum, vas deferens, spermatic cord, seminal vessels, and prostate. That's all part of the male system. And then their subsection is formatted by incision, destruction, excision, introduction, repair, manipulation, and suture. Now we get to code. All right. Our first coding scenario says a nephrectomy with the total ureterectomy and bladder cuff through different incisions. So, what do you think we need to look up in our index, ladies? What did we do?
Nephrectomy?
We did a nephrectomy. That's where I went. I'm looking at ureterectomy just because I want to see. Yeah, ureterectomy just gives us female or male, so that's not going to work. So we have to go to nephrectomy. Okay, when we get to nephrectomy, we kind of have to make a decision. It says donor, laparoscopic, partial, recipient, and then it says with ureters.
With ureters.
Right. And so it gives us 50220 through 50236. So that's our code range. It can be anywhere in between there. And then it gives us 50546 or 50548. So now we have to go into our tabular and read until we find a description that matches. Hold your answers, give everybody time to find it. Through different incisions is very, very important in this scenario. Oh, sorry. Okay, who wants to venture a try?
It's 50236.
50236. Who agrees?
I agree.
Miss Elise, do you agree?
Yeah.
Why is it 50236 instead of 50234?
It's a different incision.
Decisions.
Because it's a different incision. See how just one little bitty term or one word can make a difference. But that was very good. That's great. Okay, so let's go to our next scenario. Ureteral endoscopy through an established ureterostomy with irrigation and the removal of a foreign body. It's a mouthful, right?
Yes.
Okay, but what did we actually do?
Ureters.
Ureteral endoscopy?
We actually did an endoscopy. The endoscopy is what we did. In the ureter is where it was. So I went to endoscopy in the index. That's where I went. And it gives us lots and lots of choices, doesn't it? Well, where did we put where did we go? Where is the endoscopy at? It's the ureter, right?
Yeah, the reader. And then you got to go to endoscopy.
Right.
And then it shows your removal foreign body. And there's a whole bunch of different.
Okay. So we
Page
found,
406.
well, I'm still in the index, Miss Melissa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you're in the index, it's 1033 if you're in the index.
I looked up at 1182.
Hang on a minute. I'm in endoscopy. I went to urethra. Oh, where did I go? I didn't go to urethra. Hang on. I went to ureter, sorry. Then I went to removal. And then under removal, it says foreign body. It gives us 50961 or 50980.
And once you get to that section, which one it is. When you go further down, it says.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the word that's going to give you the indication of which one. And the word is established.
A foreign body.
Miss Roblin, what do you got? What do you think? No? Yes, no.
I'm still looking. I'm still looking.
Keep looking. Are you trying to make a decision between two codes? What do you think, Miss Sonia? What you got?
I have 50961.
Okay, why is it 50961 and not 50980?
Removal with removal of foreign body or calculus.
Right, but if you read 50970, it almost says the same thing. The only difference is if we got the word established, right?
Right.
So the answer is 50961 because it was an established ureterostomy.
So,
And I was saying that I should have followed I was saying that one.
You were trying to decide between the two?
I had picked that one at first, but like I said, always follow my first mind.
Do not second guess yourself. It's just that one little word, established.
Yes.
Did you ladies, how did y'all do? Y'all did good?
Yep.
All right. Excuse me. Complex cystometrogram with calibrated electronic equipment. So what did we do? What are we looking at here?
Complex cystometrogram.
A cystometrogram. That's pretty laid out there. So let's go to our index. When we go to the index and we look under cystometrogram, it gives us a code range. It says 51725 through 51729. So what is the key word here, guys, to make a decision? It's going to be complex. Miss Roblin, you look like you've got it.
Okay, I'm gonna just say it. 51726.
Coders, what do we think? Do we agree?
Yes. Agree.
I agree too. Yay, Miss Roblin got it. All right. Now let's move to our next coding scenario. Fulguration of a urethral prolapse. I'm going to let y'all figure this one out. I'm just going to sit and watch. I'm going to tell you, fulguration means destruction. Okay, talk to me. Who went to fulguration?
I did.
What do you see under fulguration? Do you see what you need there?
Urethra.
Urethra.
agree.
It says 53220 excision or fulguration of the. I don't know if that's it.
Okay.
I'm still looking. I keep going back and forth and looking at the numbers.
All right. Well, listen to me. I want you to go to urethra. In the index, go to urethra. Then when you get to urethra in the index, I believe it's on 1183. I want you to go to prolapse.
Is it 53275?
I don't know.
Yes.
Hang on.
Because you told us destruction.
I can't tell who was asking me that. Who asked me that?
Me, Miss Stephanie.
Oh, Miss Stephanie. I can't get all of y'all in one picture. I'm sorry. So hang on. Let them decide.
I don't know what happened, but my screen is blank. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it went out again.
Okay, Miss Stephanie says it's 53275.
I agree.
Julie agrees. Miss Kelly agrees. Miss Roblin agrees. Sonia's giving us thumbs up. Miss Stephanie, you are right. Great job. All right. Next, we're going to be doing a bilateral vasectomy. So what do you think we need to go to find this? It's pretty obvious on this one, doesn't it? So we need to go to vasectomy, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, now I want you to be really, really careful when you go to vasectomy. Usually we go to our main term and then we look down, right? When you go to vasectomy, I want you to go straight across. Miss Kelly, what do you think?
55250.
55250. Who agrees?
I agree.
Okay, now I want to talk about that. This says a bilateral vasectomy. You guys know that some of you know about modifiers. Do we need a modifier on this code, which is going to give us more information? I want you to read your scenario and see, or read your description of your code and decide, do I need to put a modifier there? Think about it. What does a modifier do? It gives the third-party payer more information, right? Our third-party
Right.
payer means our insurance. Do they need any more information than that? Do they need to know bilateral or unilateral, or is it in our description?
It's in the description because it
It's
already
in the-
says unilateral or bilateral.
Right, so do we need a modifier?
No.
No, because it gives them everything they need to know. All right, our last coding scenario is a urethral biopsy. So, ladies, what do you think we should go under? Should we go under urethral or should we go under biopsy? Does it matter?
Let's see, biopsy. Probably biopsy, huh?
Okay, well, you can go either one. There's not a bad choice here. But when you go under biopsy, it just gives you more choices of CPT codes. I went to urethra.
Yeah.
Then I went to biopsy. It gave me a choice of 2 codes, 52204 or 53200. Whereas if I went biopsy, it gave me 4 different CPT codes. So it's not a bad way to go here, is my point. Miss Sonia Dean, I haven't heard from you today. What do you think?
I'm still looking.
Okay. Miss Elise, this one's yours. What you got?
I'm looking too. I have to get my tabs.
It's probably the second code you gave us because it says the biopsy with urethra.
Hmm.